I'm Tim Henshaw and I'm one of the primary trainers here. I'd like to tell you a bit about what you can expect while you're here. As Marvin mentioned yesterday, this is where we run you through Morrow project basic training and teach you how to use all of the nifty gear you'll be receiving. Some of you may already have these skills, but our training regimen is set up to ensure that every project volunteer has them. If only one team member knows how to use the radio and something happens to him, the rest of the team could be in trouble. Your project training consists of 4 distinct phases: basic, branch, specialty, and team. Although the coursework may be hard, please understand that it's important you acquire this knowledge now. After the disaster, you probably won't have the time or opportunity to learn these things, even if there was someone around to teach you. Don't worry about flunking out either. It's not that kind of training. We've already gone to some effort to get you here, and we can't afford to waste a single volunteer. That doesn't mean we'll take it any easier on you, but we will take the time to ensure that you learn this information. Basic training will last approximately 3 months and will teach you all of the necessary skills that every project member must possess. This is what we call foundation skills. These are things like the operation and maintenance of standard project vehicles, basic weapons marksmanship, first aid, map reading, and basic radio procedures, among others. In addition, you'll receive physical fitness training on a regular basis. Our goal here is to strengthen you for the work ahead and ensure you can use not only your personal equipment but also that of any of your teammates. After basic training, you'll undergo a week-long period of personal, technical, and psychological review sessions with our staff. This is to evaluate whether or not you've successfully acquired these foundation skills and determine if you're ready for the next phase of training. If these sessions are negative or inconclusive, you may be sent back for additional training with the time dependent on the staff member's analysis. If the reviews are positive, you'll be given a tentative branch assignment and instructions for the appropriate training. Those of you placed in the Mars, Recon, or Science branches will continue your training here. Those of you placed in one of our specialty branches, like agriculture, psychology, engineering, or medical, among others, will receive your paperwork and instructions on how to proceed to another training facility for your branch training. Branch training will last approximately 5 months and will expand your knowledge to include those particular skills necessary to function in your particular branch. For Mars personnel, this will include additional weapons training, specialized search and rescue activities, police-style functions, like crowd control and physical restraint, and enhanced military-style group tactics. For science personnel, you'll study specialized project scientific gear, general laboratory procedures, and enhanced versions of basic college science classes, like chemistry, biology, engineering, geology, and physics. For recon personnel, this will entail 2 types of training. The first will involve training in sociology, psychology, economics, linguistics, and political science. The second will involve lots of fieldwork, including extensive map and compass, first aid, camouflage, and tracking training. After branch training, another week of review sessions awaits. This time, a positive review will mean you'll receive a tentative team assignment and be formed into small ad hoc groups of similarly trained individuals. Up to this point, you've all been treated as individuals. After this break in training, you'll be treated as part of a team, even if that team is only temporary for purposes of additional training. At this point, your barracks assignment will probably be changed to put you and your teammates into a closer living situation. In addition to being evaluated on your technical skills, you will now also be evaluated on how you interact with your team. Every 2 weeks, these temporary teams will be reshuffled and you'll find yourselves in a new group, with some familiar faces and some unfamiliar. Specialty training will last approximately 4 months and will enhance your technical skills in relation to how they function in a team environment. You'll find that many skills you thought worthless in isolation flourish when combined with the other skills of your teammates. Many of the things you learned in training really come into their own in a group environment. However, the most important part of this phase is to boost your productivity and develop a strong instinct for teamwork. Although each of you will bring a certain amount of expertise to any endeavor, we are all part of one big project and it's important for you to understand how you all fit into it. Making you work in these temporary teams is essential to building a strong project identity, since you may find yourselves isolated from your actual teams and will need to work with other teams. Developing cross-functional skills and learning to adapt to changing situations on the fly will be important to your team's survival. Another week of review sessions takes place at the end of the specialty training phase. At this stage, project analysts should have assembled a fairly comprehensive profile of each one of you and will be able to form real teams for the last phase of training. Unlike the previous ad hoc teams, this final team assignment is permanent and should not change. Assuming a positive review, you'll move on to the final phase of training. By this point, your technical skills should be very solid and require little effort on your part to perform correctly. Team training is the last step before you receive your operational orders and are put into cryo-freeze. You've acquired the minimum skills necessary for all project team members. You've learned those skills required by your branch assignment. and enhance those skills in team situations. Now you will hone those skills to perfection in conjunction with your new team. You will probably have worked with them before during specialty training, but now is when you will really work to develop the synergy. Your team will become more than coworkers. It will become a close-knit family of sorts. You will build permanent bonds that will last much longer than the 4 months you'll spend training here. After the disaster, these people will be the closest friends you'll have. You'll come to rely on their advice, their knowledge, and their humor. At the end of team training is your final exercise. Your team will be briefed, equipped, frozen, and moved to bolt hole number 1, one of the few truly secret sites in this center. Everything about this exercise will be as real as we can make it, but still maintain a controlled environment. Those psychological profiles I mentioned earlier come into play now, as our staff creates a unique test for each team. All details of this test are confidential and are not disclosed to other teams, even after completion. Your team may have specific requirements to fulfill or may have to fall back on the general Morrow project principles. Some equipment may be damaged, missing, or may have been rigged to malfunction. There may be staff members portraying other Morrow team members or survivors of the disaster in need of assistance. Your technical skills may be pushed to the limit to complete the test, or you may have to perform some really arduous physical activities. Everything about the test will have been designed to evaluate your competence and, more importantly, how you handle the test. Some of you may find yourselves in over your head, while others seem to sail right through. You might think the scenario is impossible to complete, and you might be right. However, it's important how you handle that realization. All I can say for sure is that you and your team will definitely remember your final exercise. When you complete this last test, you will all be given an honest-to-goodness vacation. After spending about a year cooped up here or at another training center, you'll undoubtedly be feeling a little stir-crazy. So, now that you've finished all your training, we want to give you an opportunity to spend a little time away from this environment. This is your chance to catch a few rays, do some snorkeling, whatever you feel like. Those of you with families will probably want to spend time getting reacquainted with your loved ones. So, take a good look around and soak in the world, because when you return, you'll be frozen and placed in your bolt hole to await the wake-up signal. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a quick rundown of your training schedule. If there are any questions, I'll try to answer them now. If not, we'll go ahead and start getting you orientated and ready for your first day of training.